Good evening. I am the Keeper, and you are listening to the Deadlight Codex. This is the account of a ride-share driver who encountered something inexplicable one cold autumn night. The driver, a diligent worker, was accustomed to the late-night shifts that came with unpredictable passengers and strange destinations. Yet nothing had prepared him for the events he was about to face. It began with a routine notification on his phone, a ride request from a user with no picture or name. The destination was an unfamiliar part of the city. The driver accepted the request, noting the oddity of the user profile. He shrugged it off, attributing it to a glitch or perhaps a prank. The route led him through increasingly desolate streets, the familiar hum of the city fading behind him. Buildings turned to warehouses, then to nothing but darkened fields and sparse streetlights. Each mile brought a deeper sense of isolation, as if he were driving into the mouth of something unknown. Glancing at the GPS, he noticed the app's map was lagging, flickering between screens as if trying to catch up with his location. A sense of unease settled in. As he neared the destination, the driver's phone chimed with an unusual notification. "You have arrived." But the words on the screen were not accompanied by the usual specifics, like the passenger's name or drop-off instructions. He peered into the darkness, seeing nothing but the silhouette of an old, abandoned building. There was no sign of life, not even a car parked nearby to suggest a waiting passenger. He checked the app again, only to find that the ride request had vanished, leaving no record of its existence. The chilling realization set in. He was utterly alone. Confused and unnerved, the driver attempted to mark the ride as completed, but the app refused to cooperate. He decided to leave, but the car wouldn't start. The engine whined and sputtered, as if resisting his every attempt to escape. Panic began to edge into his thoughts, the realization of his isolation growing more pronounced. He checked his phone, hoping to call for assistance, but the signal was dead. No bars, no connection to the outside world. The oppressive silence of the night wrapped around him, broken only by the distant rustle of leaves. Desperate to escape, the driver stepped out of the vehicle, the cold air biting at his skin like a warning. He approached the building, hoping to find help, or at least some clue as to where he was. As he drew nearer, he noticed a dim light flickering in one of the windows, though he couldn't recall seeing it from the road. The building's door stood ajar, a dark void beckoning him inside. He hesitated, sensing an unseen presence watching his every move, the air around him thick with anticipation. The driver took a deep breath and stepped towards the door, the creaking hinges echoing in the silence. Inside, the air was stale, filled with the scent of decay and neglect, the dim light emanating from a single bulb hanging precariously from the ceiling, cast long shadows that seemed to shift with every step. He called out, his voice swallowed by the oppressive gloom. As he ventured further, he spotted a lone chair in the center of the room, facing away from him. Instinctively, he knew he should leave, but something compelled him to stay. He turned to retreat, but the door slammed shut, enveloping him in darkness. Panic surged through him, his heart pounding in his chest like a drum. He He fumbled for his phone, its screen casting a weak glow that barely pierced the shadows. As he searched for an exit, he heard a faint whisper, indistinct yet undeniably real. It seemed to come from all directions, a mocking chorus taunting his plight. The shadows closed in, and he realized with chilling clarity that he was not alone, and maybe never had been. Driven by adrenaline and fear, the driver scrambled for the nearest window, prying it open with trembling hands. He climbed through, the jagged edges tearing at his clothes, but he didn't care. The outside air felt liberating, the sky a vast expanse of stars above. He dashed back to his car, heart racing, hoping against hope that it would start this time. To his relief, the engine roared to life, and he sped away, not daring to look back at the shadows that seemed to reach for him. As he drove, the city gradually re-emerged, streetlights and familiar landmarks offering a semblance of safety. Yet the unease lingered, a persistent shadow at the edge of his thoughts. He checked the app once more. The ride request was still missing. No trace, no record, nothing to suggest it had ever existed. The road stretched on before him, a reminder of the night's events and the mystery that would remain unsolved. He couldn't shake the feeling he had narrowly escaped something sinister, something he could never quite understand. In the following days, the driver shared his story with fellow drivers and friends, seeking answers. Reactions ranged from skepticism to concern, yet no one could offer an explanation that made sense. He avoided that area of the city, the memory too fresh, too raw to revisit. Each time he opened the app, a shiver ran down his spine, a reminder of how easily the ordinary could become something else entirely. The experience haunted him, a reminder of unseen forces that lurked just beyond the veil of normalcy. Weeks later, in a moment of curiosity, the driver returned to the app's history, looking for any data that might have been missed. To his shock, a single, inexplicable entry appeared, a timestamp with no details, listed at the exact moment he had received the mysterious request. It was as if the system itself had briefly acknowledged the presence of something otherworldly. This discovery only deepened the mystery, leaving him with more questions than answers, and a lingering dread he couldn't shake. No further contact was made. The file remains open. The driver never understood why he was lured to that place, or by whom. He continued his work, each ride a potential repeat of that night. But he was more cautious now, wary of strange requests and unfamiliar destinations. Perhaps the real horror was not knowing, forever haunted by what might have been. And if you're ever out there, driving through the night, be careful of the requests you accept. Some stories don't end. They just stop being told.